Hello, you're watching Feedbackula. I'm Johnny, this is Sarah, and this is a sandwich. Now, I'm about to eat this sandwich because I made it. Sarah had nothing to do with it. She was busy being associate producer and making sure all our content reaches you on GameSpot. Thanks for being awesome, Sarah.
That's alright.
Now, let's talk sexism. So, if you were on Twitter in the last week, you might have become aware of the hashtag #OneReasonWhy. What's that, I hear you belm? Well, it addresses the question of why there are so few lady game creators, and in doing that, it's unearthing some pretty horrible tales of sexism directed at women in all aspects of the gaming industry. Here's an example from Lillian Cohen Moore, who lists her reason as being because every disclosure of harassment feels like risking never being hired again. Now, that's a pretty shocking thing to read, and it's sad that this is the state of play in the games industry. At least that's what I think. A lot of commenters seem to disagree. When our own Carolyn Pettit and Laura Parker wrote an article on why the hashtag is important, a thundering mob took to the page, contributing nearly 2,000 comments. A lot of them were horse.
Warning! If you still like humanity and want to continue liking humanity, don't go below this comment.
Wise words. Unfortunately, in the name of Feedbackula, I was forced to go below that comment and to the very edges of my sanity. Let's watch!
Don't not care.
Tough cookies, toughen up and take action.
I say tough titties.
What sexism? Seriously, what sexism? I've been gaming for years and the only stuff I see that could be classed as sexism are young kids shouting profanities down their microphones. I don't recall Call of Duty's kitchen level where you play a woman making sandwiches for the troops as they bump iron. All this recent slurry of stamping out sexism in the games industry just makes female gamers look like whiners, which I doubt is helping the issue much. I see dozens of these articles and they barely go into any detail bar a number of characters strutting around in chainmail bikinis. Yeah, it does get eye-rolling, but that's not sexism. The men in Gears of War walk around with half their armor off and like dumb slabs of meat, but I don't see anyone complaining about that.
Because Gears of War is still a male power fantasy, it's brotacular in the extreme. Also, chainmail bikinis aren't sexist. Seriously? You know when you see armour with boobs built into it? Dumb idea. Having two mounds like that would actually guide the point of a sword right into the middle, which, last time I checked, was one of those places you didn't want to be stabbed. The only point of having boobs on armour is to titillate. With your tits!
Shut up, woman. Women can make over 100k a year in stripping and not earn a lick of education. They get child support and be on vacation for the next 18 years. They also always gain favour on who hit who. Women always have the most say what is offensive in a corp environment. And above all else, they can choose which guy they can pick out of 1k emails they get every day from males. And dress code is always by far relaxed for women than men. Most of the hires I see are usually picked women over men due to, well, duh, they have a hoo-hoo. They need to shut their mouth. There is always a positive and negative with both male and female sides. A woman can say rape, and the person did nothing to be in that position and put a innocent man behind bars for years. Court sides during lawsuit and abusive cases normally go in favour of women. Yes, I'm married, no kids, ex-model, ex-stripper, never went to jail, ex-DJ, and a person making 45k a year in a corp job. So I can say this crap, as I work from underground to corp. Woman, shut up and go make me a sandwich!
You can say it, still sound like an idiot though.
Games industry and sexism? Let me correct it. You are saying why men get more work in gaming companies rather than women? Well, then let me ask these. Why women think it's better to pay money for makeups rather than video games? Why you keep questioning the games and try to ridicule them, mostly FPS genre? Why women think male gamers are nerds, sad losers who have no life? Why women don't spend a whole night playing Halo or Dead Space but will watch Twilight till morning? Now, not all of them are like this, but that percentage of women who really get the games is so thin. Also, then why don't you try to make your way between male gamers? When there was a time where the percentage of female gamers were equal as the male, then for sure the percentage of male and female workers in gaming companies gonna change. Also, you did this sexism thingy on Brink too, and reduced points from it, so cool story, sis. P.S. How about this? How many girls would say, I want to be Samus Aran? How many would say a pop singer?
Yeah, you tell it, bro. They're spending too much time paying money for makeups to get the age-old mystery of why games are good. Thank God men cracked that one long ago.
This is about survival.
Now, unless you're a nerd sad losers, that brief smattering of virulent has probably given you a faint inkling that maybe, just maybe, the games industry has an attitude problem with women. This isn't an isolated problem. Pay inequality is an issue in a number of different fields. However, sexism seems far more pronounced in the games industry than any other. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, but traditionally it's been a male-dominated industry, and there's truth in that. In the early days, the video game industry featured practically no women. However, that's not the case anymore, and because that's the way it used to be is not a good enough reason to maintain imbalance. Here's an example. Famously this year, following allegations of sexism in the fighting tournament circuit, Aris Bakhtanian's renowned fighter and coach of the Tekken team in Capcom's Cross Assault, said the sexual harassment is part of the culture. If you remove that from the fighting game community, it's not the fighting game community. It doesn't make sense to have that attitude. These things have been established for years. Strong words for sure. The problem with that is Aris Bakhtanian's is an arsehole, and he's what's wrong with the games industry. Not too long ago, gay people used to be put in prison just because of their sexual orientation. In many places, they still are. We used to burn Catholics alive just for being Catholics. Black people were segregated from white people in America and South Africa as though they were inferior. I think we can all agree that these atrocities are nothing to be proud of, and we'd be insane to reinstate and perpetuate them just because it's recorded in our annals of history. And while sexism in video games may seem like a smaller issue to some people, the point is no less true. There's absolutely no need for it to continue. In fact, it's time to make sure sexism in video games dies out. Hiring practices, the perception of women as video game writers or designers, as coders or community managers, all these things need to change, and it's down to the games industry to do it. However, we also need to look at our own attitudes as consumers, because if we sit by and do nothing but make the occasional back in the kitchen joke, the games industry's much needed progress will come far slower. But anyway, I'm not here to browbeat you, and of course in every cloud there is a silver lining. While some of the stuff we read in the comments was frankly horrifying, some of it was not all the way horrifying. Some of it was approaching nice.
A serious section of the games industry with problems is Xbox Live. The amount of abuse women and many other people get on that service is unbelievable. I remember being really put off from a young age because I'm Welsh, and when I started talking to friends or other people while playing a game, the amount of hatred and abuse I got was insane. And it's these idiots that are ruining the gaming scene for everyone. In my opinion, we should talk about the problems as a whole and not give priority to certain ones, because they are all a priority.
Reading through the comments on articles like this is always just depressing as hell. We can do better than this. One reason why is just a tiny window into some of the crap that women go through for no other reason than their sex. Yes, sexism exists in the wider world. That's no bloody excuse. We are part of the gaming community, and there's no reason why we can't work to making this corner of the world, our community as a whole, less shit.
So if there's one thing I've learned from most of these comments, this is why games can't be taken seriously. Gamers are bigoted, petulant children. That's the only explanation I can come up with. I hope the world never takes us seriously, or they'll be accepting some rather sickening, caustic views. Both views and people the world will be better off without. I'm hoping my assessment is wrong, but these comments aren't encouraging.
Well, I'm off to slam some blue ribbon and play some Rumble Roses.
I've never been so ashamed of my fellow gaming community members than I am now, reading the comments below, and you guys come up with some doozies.
Where the are the video games GameSpot? This isn't video games. You said there would be video games. Where are the video games GameSpot?
People are assholes. It's an unfortunate fact. And gamers tend to be even more so, especially when it comes to competitive multiplayer games. Personally, I don't think it's possible to get rid of discrimination, not while there are self-centered people, which is everyone, out there. Just like there will never be an end to war. Yeah, it sucks that women are discriminated against, but there isn't much that can be done to change how people think and act.
I disagree with that last bit, but a good comment nonetheless. Let's see what the next enlightened fellow has to offer.
You'll never eradicate sexism, ever. And besides, I genuinely feel as though male sexism is far more prominent, and women just allow it to affect them more.
Why did you have to ruin it?
My guess is the women stressing over this aren't having many orgasms.
Wow, they came out of nowhere and then suddenly want huge authority in video games equals /.
It's all EA's fault, Lamau.
I don't think even the most sexist of us male gamers has any problem with women playing games or developing games, provided we are talking about qualified women with a passion for gaming.
Well, aren't you the progressive one? That caveat really isn't necessary. If they're right for the job, they'll have to be qualified and passionate about games. Adding an element of suspicion because you fear their insidious womb might somehow let them slip past quality control isn't really on.
Yeah, we all know what feminism is about, and it's a bunch of bullshit. They shouldn't market games to women because they aren't the majority. They shouldn't just hire women in the industry just because they are women. The fact of the matter is guys get guys, and girls don't. When I play Gears of War, I don't want to have a bunch of hardcore girl soldiers because that's lame as
I think it's time we all applied for waitressing jobs at Hooters. It's just not right that men aren't permitted to serve wings at an American institution. One reason why men can't work at Hooters? Cause nobody wants them to. Think about that, ladies, next time you're crying about women in gaming.
Okay, that'll do. Now listen. Women aren't out to destroy video games. They aren't trying to take your favourite macho franchises and turn them into Malibu Barbie's fun-time adventure. All they're asking is a chance to work under the same conditions as men, i.e. without being dismissed, objectified or straight up attacked just because of their gender. Ultimately, you know what you need to enjoy games and want to work with them? Passion. You know what isn't a requirement? A big swinging dick. The number of people waiting to pounce on anything defending women in gaming is, to be honest, pretty alarming and smacks of insecurity. And what's more, if you lot actually had a sandwich every time you told a woman to go make you one, you'd be a beast by now. Surely you can find something more constructive to do with your time. If not, I've got an idea. Hey you! Stop being a sexist pig and join the Navy! You can tie your gender insecurities to your whirling sense of self-loathing and throw them into the briny depths. Hooray!
In the Navy, yes you can sail the seven seas. In the Navy, yes you can put your mind at ease. In the Navy.